Hey everyone, this is Robert Newman, and in case you're not familiar with who I am a real estate website marketing expert. Been doing it for 16 years, and instead of giving this huge update like I usually do, you Google Ylopo versus Sync, you find the first organic result is an article on Ylopo's site, and you'll see that it was written by moi. When I say that I've consulted with Ylopo and many of the other industry-leading website development companies, real estate marketing companies, you can actually be sure that I have, and I have. Luxury Presence and many others have all asked me to review their platforms um, or do other types of conversations surrounding their services. So I know a thing or two about real estate marketing websites, and I also have my own significant following, about 45 to 50,000 real estate professionals across many different social channels follow me already. So that's who I am. And what I'm here to do today is kick off a series of fast videos that are answering common questions that I get. It's going to be designed for YouTube and maybe my Instagram channel. And we're going to kick off with one of the main questions that I get over and over again, which is, when should I own a real estate website? It's a very common question, and here's how it's usually delivered. Usually somebody calls into me and they're somewhere in their first or third year of their real estate career, and they're asking the question of, when is it time for me to own a real estate website? Because most of these services like Ylopo, Zerpal, Zillow, the Luxury Presence, Real Estate Webmaster, Sierra Interactive, Real Geeks, Easy Agent Pro, and many, many others, they all offer websites that you do not own and you ultimately do not control. You may control the iteration that they give you, but even then, in many cases, the control is limited. So the question oftentimes comes up, should I own my site? And I am literally in 100 different places saying at various times, you should own a site. But what I probably don't specify really is the circumstances in which it is time for you to own a website. So here's a few benchmarks for somebody who might be considering owning your own real estate website. Um, do you already make over $100,000 to $150,000 in commissions? Okay. Are you bringing that much home? Not have you made it and you spend 60 on an assistant and then pull down 90. If you are making pre-taxes $100,000 to $150,000 and you're using any of the services that I mentioned, it is then a very good time for you to consider owning your own real estate website. There are obviously exceptions. What would the exceptions to this rule be? If you have a digital background and you're one of the few that's getting into the real estate industry and you already are aware of things like how to create content, you have the will and the desire to give good answers to the questions that people might be asking about real estate, you're willing to do so in more than one format, such as writing it, doing a video, maybe even doing audio. These are things that you can then, especially with the emphasis on you have the experience in digital. Okay, maybe in your first year it might be a wise idea for you to own a real estate website. Maybe. The other circumstance which I've come across often is every now and again you get real actual entrepreneurs who are deciding to move into real estate. And an entrepreneur these days, by my definition, is actually many different things. It's not just a person that's owned a traditional business. Seth Godin has this concept of that he's promoting that I have always promoted myself. It's just he came out and did something with it first, which is called tribes. I have always been in every organization that I've ever worked for. I've just basically been a tribal leader. I get people behind my philosophies and I lead them in a certain direction. You could have been such a leader for a company, like you're working for somebody else, but you are very much, you rose up within that organization, became a leader in your own right, and basically led a division or like it could be a branch or a restaurant, like you could have run a whole restaurant. Anytime you've stepped up to the plate and you've led 5, 10, 15, 20 people or hundreds of people on a mission, owning a real estate website is almost a no-brainer, common sense thing for you to do from the moment that you start your career within real estate. You already are understanding of the work and the effort that it takes to be responsible for answers, to be responsible for a mission, to be responsible for a brand or a message that you yourself have created. And that basically is what owning a website is. You have to be ready to take responsibility for your messaging. You have to be ready, because other than that, you should probably be leaving yourself in the hands of these extremely capable providers that are out there. Okay, like Ylopo, like the many others that I've reviewed throughout my many channels. They all have an extremely solid place inside the real estate marketing ecosphere. But every time you cede control, you're literally like, you're giving all the revenue and the upside potential to your own marketing to these other companies. Now, if they provide enough value, and if you're not ready to step into the shoes of being a digital leader, then it makes all the sense in the world for you to commit to these other platforms. They also have a place in larger marketing schemes. Some of my clients have 6, 7, 8 websites. Some of my clients need 6, 8 websites. Websites and real estate websites, even one that you own, do different things for you. Okay, they don't all provide the same result. Like, we're looking at a real estate lead provider right now, and yes, they provide very pretty branded websites, but really their mission is mostly to get you good leads. It's not to build beautiful websites. They would probably argue that. Well, actually, let me rephrase. I need to take that back. They do build beautiful websites, and it is their mission to build a good website, but it's not their primary mission. Their primary mission is to get good, high quality leads to agents. And every time you sign up for a service, you need to take a look at what their primary mission is. And if you have a space inside your marketing strategy, like if you just need high volumes of leads to feed to teams, which most of you do to help with recruiting, who have teams or that, then you need something to plug something like this in, because the idea behind owning your own real estate website is usually a lower stream of leads, but are higher quality. Plus, you're in charge of your messaging and your branding, which for a very small percentage of real estate agents, it makes a lot of sense. When you get to a place where you really need to be in charge of your own messaging, your own branding, and you are going to create messaging, you're going to create content, you're doing any of that, it doesn't make any sense for you to be doing that on anything else other than your own platform. If you're religiously updating Facebook, if you're religiously updating YouTube, if you're religiously updating Instagram, you could be leveraging the same work for 2 to 3 times the value on a real estate website that you own. So this wasn't a 5-minute answer, it was an 8-minute answer, but that's it. That's hopefully I've given you a concept of when is it time to own a real estate website, because that's all this video is meant to address, is when is it time to own your own real estate website. Do me a favor, let's break that YouTube algorithm. Give me a thumbs up if you like the content. For those of you who have questions, and I think many of you will, just leave them in the comments down below and I'll get to them as quickly as I can.